NFC East predictions. We about to go. It's about to go down right now with this balling from the sidelines episode. Uh, let's just jump right into it. I got Philly winning the division and that one seed. Jalen Hurts is a bad man. He is a bad, bad man. No matter be picking you apart from the pocket, which he's shown he's able to do at a high level last year, straight up shotgun, 5-step dropbacks, 3-step dropbacks from an ace formation, running the RPO, the zone read. He can do absolutely anything and everything on the field. I don't know when's the last time I've seen a quarterback who can do all these things at such a high level. I mean, Josh Allen is, the other quarterback from recent years that we've seen that can really run the RPO zone read as well as do straight up dropbacks. But I think Jalen Hurts is a better, more. I think Jalen Hurts is a smarter quarterback, more accurate quarterback, and just a better decision maker in general. And we saw in the playoffs last year. I know there's a big thing about the Super Bowl hangover, but there should really be no hangover at all. They defeated themselves in the Super Bowl with the defense blew gasps in the second half. Jalen Hurts' fumble was costly, but I'm not going to hold him accountable because of the 4 touchdowns he had. Uh, I just think this Philly team is too complete, too well rounded. They've lost a bunch of defensive starters. I think they've lost like 6 or 7 starters from last season going into this season. But that front seven, that pass rush, it's still stout. We got Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, Josh Sweat. Um, you know, they're gonna be good. They're good on the defensive end, and then you couple that with Darius Slay, probably the best cornerback in the NFL besides Sauce Gardner, in my opinion. I think it's between he's probably number 2 after Sauce Gardner. Then you still got Bradbury on the squad as well. I mean, they've lost a bunch of stars, but they still got most of their playmakers, the ones that you really, really, really count on, and you need them. You want them back from the previous year. It's kind of like their defensive identity. So they're gonna be chilling. They got a really good chance of making the Super Bowl again this year. I wouldn't be surprised one bit if they did. They're probably my early pick right now to make the Super Bowl again, which is something we haven't seen in a while. The team losing and then making the Super Bowl again. I mean, the Kansas City Chiefs did it recently, but besides Mahomes and Brady, I don't know when's the last time that happened. Long time ago. Then you look at who I got with the number finishing second in the division. I got Big D, the Dallas Cowboys, getting that first wild card spot. Not very big on the Dallas Cowboys. Because we've kind of seen this moving over and over again. It's a never-ending saga of a never-ending sequel. Cowboys start off pretty strong. Dak Prescott's making smart, good throws, highly efficient, running the ball well. Defense is getting turnovers and creating sacks. Then they go through a little bit of a slump. Middle of the year, they get over that funk. Then they finish off the year pretty strong, better. And they either win a division or they get the wild card spot. And then they choke in the playoffs. But this isn't about the playoffs, it's about the regular season. I mean, I had to hate pick them as my number one wild card spot because there's just no one else in the NFC that's proven and a legitimate threat right now, a definitive threat to take out number one wild card spot away from them. I'm big on the Commanders this season. I'll get into that later. But Dallas has had their number. Anytime the Commanders, the Redskins have played Dallas the past since really the Kirk Cousins era, it's been bad for them. The Commanders, they lose a lot of primetime games versus them. They can't figure them out. Of all the division rivals the past 10 years, more like 8 years, no one's given them more trouble and been a bigger pain in the ass for them than the Cowboys, and I don't expect that to change. And this defense, it's still top three. You got DeMarcus Lawrence, Michael Parsons, Leighton Vander Esch, you got Trayvon Diggs, and now you got Gilmore. That Gilmore trade in the offseason, that Gilmore trade that they completed to get him. Well, not trade, but the trade happened midseason last year when he got dealt to Carolina. But the addition this offseason with Gilmore it's gonna pay big dividends for him. Stephon Gilmore is he can get burnt a decent amount, but he's still 8 times out of 10, he's getting the job done, and that's plenty good with the amount of other playmakers they got on this defense. So yeah, Cowboys, they'll get the number one wild card spot by default, but still not too big on them. Dak Prescott is who he is. No arm talent at all. Dink and dunk guy. And I mean his accuracy is all right, but he's not crazy stupid accuracy when it comes to throwing receivers open. But they got a good receiving core with CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup. Tony Pollard is gonna have a big year. I think their formula to success, if they want to, actually be more than what they've been the past few years, is become make force feed Tony Pollard to the point where that's really you're running the ball down their throat like they did with Zeke in 2016 and the year after that. But now for the number 3 in division, I got the Washington Commanders finishing as the second wild card spot in third place in the NFC East. Yeah, that's right. We're gonna get three playoff teams from the NFC East, which we did last year as well. So why am I picking the Commanders? It's all about that man under center, the signal caller. Sam Howell can throw a ball over 35 yards. In fact, he can throw a ball over 45 yards. He can throw a ball 50 yards, over 50 yards as well. Taylor Heineke couldn't throw a ball above 35. At the most, if you're pushing it 40 yards, that's going to require a pretty big windup from him to get the ball, sling it downfield that far. Now you got Sam Howell. You're not handicapped to throwing it, underneath the first down marker, or just intermediate routes maximum, and not even really deep routes, not deep routes at all, just straight up intermediate routes. And even with the intermediates, like it wasn't like 20 yards, 25 yards, 10 once you're above like that 15-yard mark, 20-yard mark, I mean, it wasn't pretty. There was no velocity on that football when you were getting, downfield, probably like, 20 yards downfield. And it showed. This team's got a stacked receiving core. They got Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson, Curtis Samuel, De'Ami Brown, Antonio Gibson's a good pass catcher. This is a really good receiving core, and now they're finally going to be able to unlock and leash the beast that they have in Terry McLaurin, having a guy who can air it downfield to him, just push it downfield, take the top off defenses. McLaurin can moss you like he did last year in that crazy jump ball he had in the end zone, just leaping over the guy with his arms spread out, just like straight up grabbing it out of the way, and imposing as well. They're gonna be able to do that. Brian Robinson, do not sleep on Brian Robinson either. When he got shot, unfortunately, before week 1, had to go through some recovery time, and then came back around mid-season, and he wasn't up to speed. It took him some time to get back at full strength. But once he got back at full strength, this guy showed flashes of he can be a top 5 running back in the NFL. They completely force fed him. They just pounded the rock with him, and it worked to their advantage. He's a strong, physical running back with good speed. He can break away when he needs to. And even if the run blocking isn't spectacular, he can still get it done with yards after contact. And he kind of, his coming out party was in that Philadelphia game that upset. I think it was Monday Night Football. That upset Monday Night Football or Sunday Night Football, but it was prime time, and that was a huge game for him. That was his coming out party. So I expect probably 1,300 yards from Brian Robinson. Sam Howell, he's gonna have a good. I think there's gonna be some hurdles, but I think he's gonna get probably like over 3,500 yards, 25 plus touchdowns. And if Sam Howell has it figured out this year, Commanders will get that number 1 wild card spot if Sam Howell is coming up, clicking on all cylinders the way we saw, like a Kyler Murray his rookie year or something like that. So, and the other side of the football, Commanders defense is top 10 in both passing and rushing defense last year. They got, a great offensive line with Montez Sweat. Chase Young is, missing week 1, but he's going to be back. Got Jonathan Allen. Linebacking corpse is suspect. I'm not gonna lie. It's a suspect linebacking corpse. But Jamin Davis, you know, he's all right. David Mayo, like you guys know him. You guys know about David Mayo. If you guys follow the Commanders, he's not who you want at the linebacking corpse. But it can the front set the defensive line and the pass rush in general can cover up some of those faults. And they didn't have a great linebacking corps last year either, but they were still top 10 rush defense. It's not that big of a concern. Making our way to the safeties with Derek Forrest and Cameron Curl. They were the PFF's #1 rated safety duo in the NFL, and they're only going to build on that more. Then you got Kendall Fuller, still quality cornerback, and he's more than just a slot corner. He's actually proven that he can cover #1 receivers, bigger receivers, and he's done a great job of that. Then you couple that with the rookie and Emmanuel Forbes. This defense has great potential. It's going to be a solid unit. They're gonna hold their own. And if Chase Young can come back like who he was his rookie year, he was even good in the games he returned last year, up his sack numbers. This Commander's got a great potential, so I got them as a #2 wild card spot. New York Giants. Nah, I mean Daniel Jones is not a good quarterback. Saquon is good, but he's not as good as Nick Chubb or Derrick Henry. He can't carry them to the playoffs through his legs. They overachieved big time last year, the Giants. They still haven't improved the receiving core at all, really. The defense, I think they have the worst defense in the NFL, and it'll show in the division standings when they finish dead last. Those are my NFC's predictions.